They say the desert doesn't sleep. I say it just pretends not to snore. Out here in the fine armpit of nowhere, the only thing more frequent than power outages are existential crises, and I've had 3 of those since lunch. That's dinner. Hot Pockets. The food of astronauts. And the desperately unemployed. This is Gavin Zephyr, broadcasting live from the only house with a radio tower and no indoor plumbing. You're tuned in to The Brain Chew, a show for insomniacs, conspiracy theorists, and that one guy in Idaho who swears he saw Elvis in a Bass Pro Shop. Yeah, we're that place. But before the red on-air light flicks on and I plunge into another night of call-ins and creepy stories, I have a situation. There's a light behind the shed, and it's blinking. It's blinking! Ah! And I don't know what it is. Blue, then green, then blue again. Rhythmic, like a bad DJ set in an alien rave. Now, you might say, Gavin, it's probably just a power inverter or a drone being flown by some drunk guy. But believe you me, I've lived here long enough to know 2 things. 1, everyone within driving distance is too drunk to fly a drone. And 2, if it's blinking, it's thinking. And I don't trust things that blink and think without a face. But before we dive into that particular bit of business any further, it's showtime.
I took the lead. Somebody's heart.
If you are hearing this, don't adjust your dials. We're doing it for you. Good evening, you brave souls of the back channels and frequency ghosts. You found the Brain Chew, where truth is stranger than fiction, and I am regretfully your host, Gavin Zephyr. Tonight's topic: lights in the sky and lies in the files. But first, let me set the mood. Imagine this. You're sipping lukewarm coffee, your dog won't stop growling at the fence, and your radio keeps picking up a faint transmission that whispers your name. Gavin! Gavin! That happened to me just this last week. Turns out, though, it was my neighbor's parrot. She's been teaching him new words. Good for them. But that doesn't mean that the weird isn't real. Now on to the phone lines. Let's take our first caller. Alright. Then seems as yet we don't have any. Well, I'll tell you a story. So, about those aforementioned files, let me see what I do with that. Aha, here we go. Alright. In a recently declassified batch of UFO files from a certain alphabet agency, I'm not going to say which one, But, one particularly odd report stood out. Buried between a memo about swamp gas and a doodle of a flying saucer labeled budget cuts, the report dated 1977 was titled simply Incident 47B, the Pancake Protocol. And that's right. According to the field notes, a man in rural Wisconsin claimed that a UFO landed in his backyard around dawn. Out stepped 3 humanoid figures in silver suits, and apparently they did not ask to be taken to our leader. No, they asked for syrup. I don't know. It's what's in the paper. Right here. I'm merely reporting, so do not kill the messenger. Carrying on. So, it appears that the bloke obliged. Obviously, I suppose, wouldn't you? I mean, I guess I would. Came all this way. I'm not going to begrudge them a little bit of tree juice. Anywho's, the aliens, described as polite but hungry, proceeded to hand him a metal disc that heated up and cooked the pancakes right there in the field. Pretty convenient. Then they offered him one, saluted, and vanished into the ship, which then ascended with a sound that was reported as being like a microwave sighing. It's definitely a sound I'm all too familiar with. But I digress. The witness went on to describe the pancakes as sort of bland but strangely satisfying. Scientists later analyzed the remaining crumbs and declared it mostly buckwheat, possibly interstellar. Who'd have thunk it? Anywho, years later, though, an internal review of the file quietly labeled it as a hoax, citing a lack of corroborating radar data and an implausibly wholesome narrative. But conspiracy theorists point out that the pancake was never returned to the man. And now, that section of the file is redacted under Executive Syrup Order 51. So, did it really happen? Well, between you and me, let's just say someone in the government knows a little bit more about flapjacks and flying saucers than they choose to say. But alright, that's that for that. I'll be right back. But first, a word from our sponsor. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Reynolds Wrap Tinfoil, perfect for all your foiling needs. Whether it's to wrap a chicken up to help keep it extra juicy, or your brain so that those harp rays don't make it extra mushy. Always remember Reynolds Wrap. It's the foil that's always loyal. Alright, 1 hour to go. And it's still blinking. You know, what the weird part is, really, it's hypnotic. Like it wants me to see it. Like it wants me to know that it's there. It's taunting me. It's living rent-free in my gray matter. And I don't know how I feel about it. Alright. I know what I gotta do. Let's go. Cool. Alright, either there's radiation, or I left the microwave door open again. Oh, shh. There it is. A tiny orb sassy little... Well, that's one mystery solved. It doesn't like being poked. And we're back. And while we were away, I may or may not have made first contact with a sentient ceiling fan. It blinked. It hummed. It zapped me. And then it left. Just like my exes. Anywho, tonight's moral? Sometimes the universe sends you messages in Morse code. Other times, it just zaps your knuckle and floats away giggling. So, to you night owls, dream chasers, and fellow tinfoil hat enthusiasts out there, keep watching the skies, keep questioning the obvious, and remember, when the light blinks, blink back. This is Gavin Zephyr, signing off from The Brain Chew, the only show on the airwaves where the host may or may not be just speaking to himself. Either way, good night, and good luck to us all.
Tonight's broadcast was brought to you by Static Electricity, Microwave Regret, and the Ghost of AM Radio. If you've seen a UFO, a cryptid, or your cousin Dave pretending to be a Mothman again, call the tip line, or just write it in the sky.